what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
That's not what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
That's not what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
That's not what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
I love you. I love you. I love you. We love you too. Yeah, we need very important. If we get together, we can make a change in this world for a better world.
It's very important because we need to change our society, we need to change the rules simply because it's completely failing at the moment.
Well, right now, I mean, I am a teacher. I'm a teacher, and as a result, I get to see on a daily basis the effect that these cuts are having, the effect that this government has on the youth of today, how they dumb them down, okay, how they don't teach them things correctly, how they don't teach them to critically analyze. And as a result, like the true cause that I believe in, which is the ability to think for yourselves, the ability to critically analyze, like it's there every day.
Because I believe we have to change and we have to wake up the people, wake them up to start at least thinking and try to, if you have to be radical now.
Because there are so much injustice here in United Kingdom and around the world, and our government and corporations are doing all these horrendous things around the world, and here the poorest people are suffering all the injustice.
We can't keep up that level when we are now, because it will collapse sooner or later, and how to pay back the debt, either slavery or clean slate.
I do a lot of things. I work with CND, I work with the union, I work with the People's Assembly. The reason I do it is because I think a lot of people feel the same way that I do. I think a lot of people have this similar sort of feeling, that they're feeling disenfranchised. You saw the reaction that Russell Brand got the other day.
I do it because I feel it in my heart. I have seen the suffering of many people, and that is unfair, totally unfair and wrongdoing. And our governments and corporations are together against the people who are suffering the most.
we have to write off the whole debt level. These trillions of dollars, it's a scam. So simple as that. It won't work in the long run.
We are looking for transparency and justice. We are saying to Cameron, don't abuse our human rights. We are asking to Cameron, don't abuse the freedom of speech. I feel the passion because I have little ones. I have my family. I have people who is very young and they need to have a better world. At the moment, our world is totally corrupt. Our governments are corrupt.
Just check the last half a year's Obama administration, new rules and new legislations. Just check them and you will see what I'm talking about.
There is a huge underclass and there's a huge group of people who just are disenfranchised. They have no one to vote for. There's nothing, and I think it's sensible that we can get coverage out there and we can get the word out there that you're not alone and that we should group together and we should try to actually change the way that this country is run.
Oh, I'm doing something what is necessary to do. It's important, obviously, but I'm just a small fish. But you know how it's done. Throw just a little tiny stone into the lake and it will make a huge wave in the end. That's why I'm doing it.
Owen Patterson! Where's his conscience? Where's his guilt? For the blood that he has spilled! Where's his conscience? Where's his guilt? For the blood that he has spilled! Where's his conscience? Where's his guilt? For the blood that he has spilled! Shame, shame, shame on Patterson! 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 Owen Patterson, budget killer! Owen Patterson, budget killer!
When I protest, I can raise my voice for me and for the people who are suffering and they don't have any voice.
I have to do it. Somehow. It makes me feel good, but in the same time it's a sad thing I have to do something like this.
Well, on some days it can get quite cold, but on the whole, like it's what I do in my spare time. Well, it's one of the things that I do in my spare time, and it makes me feel good. Obviously, it can get disheartening sometimes. I've been out to protests before when only 30, 40 people turn up because it's raining and stuff, and it can get disheartening. But on the whole, it always leaves me with a really good feel-good feeling because you're doing something which you believe in. You're doing something which actually means something to you.
For the eye that does not care! For the eye that is unaware! For the eye that says, this is the price we pay for freedom's glory! Or the eye that says, over there it's the same old story! Maybe it's the eye that says, what can I do? That one sounds like me! Which eye are you? But maybe there is an eye out there that can rise and stand and right the wrongs in this tear-soaked land. This eye is not me. Is it you? Maybe it's a we that's needed to see this
What's my dream? I don't know, in terms of my political dream, I would love to see a society which is a lot more directly democratic.
My dream is beautiful. I want a better world with peace, justice, love for all.
I would like to see an education system which is a lot more democratic, which is specifically just run by the students and the teachers, rather than some guy sitting in a building who's completely disconnected from the entire system.
No one going hungry, with good education for all, not just for the few. Good opportunities for all, not for the few.
I would like to see a system where people are educated enough to make their own decisions so they can vote on policy rather than having to vote in a representative which ultimately doesn't stick to what he says he or she would do or doesn't actually know the situation.
My dream? to be with the woman who I love. That's my dream. That's a very simple dream.
We're on the move!
Corporations and the government is a servant of corporations.
The biggest obstacles, I suppose, is waking up the slumbering public. I mean, one of the things, and I was discussing this with my students today, why is it in the United Kingdom there is such a large amount of apathy? We're not even talking about, a political decision not to vote. We're talking about mass apathy. And my students were saying to me that one of the key things is a lack of education. They said they don't vote, they don't get involved because they literally don't know anything. They have no idea. And we're not talking about kids, like young kids here. I'm talking about 18, 19, 20-year-olds, okay? So I think one of the biggest problems is this lack of education that exists, a lack of knowledge of how the parliamentary system works.
Everyday life, working too hard because you need to pay the bills, which is nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying, now people have to stop working, but this monetary system, this financial system is just failing and it's just wrong.
If our government represents us, there will be, everything will be perfect. But our government is only serving corporations, and corporations don't have any morals.
And the second thing is that with the way that the cuts are and with the way that, real incomes have been decreasing a lot, and with the increase in rent, etc., people are having to work a lot after they finish work. All they want to do is go home and go to sleep. I mean, that's what I want to do when I finish work. It takes a lot for me to get onto a train and travel an hour into London to come to something like this. I think that's the other situation. Trade union participation at the moment is so low because people, A, have felt like they haven't made any difference in the last 20 years, and secondly, because they're just too damn tired.
I don't know what I've been told. I don't know what I've been told. Black of England supporters. Black of England supporters. I don't know what it's been said. I don't know what it's been said. Work our children to a bed. Work our children to a bed. Say 1, 2, 3, 4. Freedom's what we're fighting for.
People need to start researching now. You have to wake up, otherwise it will be too late. To be fair, I'm not 100% sure we are not late already.
What can people do to help? I mean, there are some fantastic things happening at the moment. There are a lot of websites which just are constantly sending out petitions, which is great. You don't necessarily have to put in a lot of effort to sign a petition online.
We need to use our brains because at the moment our governments are no use. If we get together, we can make a change for a better world for our little ones.
Say no to the bankers, say no to credit, start living normally, not spending like idiots on credit cards, make the people, the bankers rich, and then slave yourself. Stop buying everything on credit, for God's sake. Stop this bullshit and try to do something worthy in your life.
You can do the traditional thing of writing to your MPs, you can come out, you can get involved. There are thousands of groups out there. There are trade unions, there are, there's the Stop the War Coalition, the Campaign for Nuclear Disarmament, the People's Assembly Against Austerity.
People are just not listening, although the information is all around them. They are just lost in too much work, lost in soap operas, lost in movies, lost in everyday life, laziness. So they have to wake up, otherwise it will be too late, and we wake up one day and we are slaves for our own debt. And we will. And the other thing is, our children will pay for it.
Yeah.
And the grandchildren.
There are groups involved in helping, peoples with inside Palestine, helping peoples with inside Syria. And it's a case of actually getting involved in these groups. And And I mean, with the way that the internet is today, all you have to do is log on online, and it's right there for you to get involved.
The main message: stop the wars, because that's just the main income for the bankers, not for the governments. Okay, they earn on it, obviously.
To be together, everybody raise their voice.
The key message would be to, you know, educate to think for yourself. Don't educate with, you know, this is what happened there, that's what happened then. You need to educate with the fact of educating people to think for themselves, to critically analyze the situation. That is what ultimately I think is that I would like to leave behind. That's what I try to leave to my students every day. I've got pretty strong opinions on a lot of things, but I don't want them to just agree with me. I mean, that's exactly what these people want us to do. You know, I would like to get them to think for themselves.
To fulfill our dreams, because if we are together and we raise our voice for the people who are suffering, we can make a change in this world, and that will be much better for everyone.
Love each other, unite. I know, I can't really say any clever thing, because, you know, people, more clever people than me, they already said it. Just remember John F. Kennedy, just remember John Lennon, just remember Martin Luther King, and you will know the answer.
I see the good and I see the bad, and it's hidden in people. I see the fight, I see the cause, I see the battle between God and evil. And those that know have a duty to act, react and push back. Shine light in a dark place, take a cat in this rat race space. Matter of fact, what's relevant, this or that. Door crack, it becomes evident you don't distract. People cuts from my back, the self-critical, over-analytical, subliminal criminal. You wanna start something, let's get physical. And enough of this talking, typical